Hey guys, you're gonna get this version of me because I still feel like I'm living in a daze. But I'm obviously home with my own pillow, my own blanket. I kidnapped Ninja and had her stuffed under my blanket for a little bit. She left. I ate, and yeah, so I'll just kind of give you a run through of today because I pretty much kept you updated on everything else. If you want to, go see it, then go watch the previous vlogs. But I slept actually decently well last night. One, for being in hospital, two, for being petrified of the endoscopy, or not really the endoscopy, more so the anesthesia. And they woke me up at about 7:40 to say that they'd moved the endoscopy up from 11 to 9, which kind of gave me a mini freak out because I wanted my dad to be there, and he couldn't be there at 9, so I had to do it alone. But he got there as I was in recovery. So they took me down for the endoscopy at about 8:45, and the whole like rigmarole of getting everything set up. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I was so terrified of the anesthesia that I literally held a nurse's hand while I was being put under, and she was like, "Hey, we do this all the time." And so yeah, I mean, that was that. I went under. It was strange because I had so much anxiety as I was getting hooked up to all the machines and like almost on the verge of tears. And then as I was starting to like sorry, I was reading a text. As I was starting to like go under, I felt this like enormous sense of calm come over me. It was very weird. All morning prior, I'd been repeating Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, in my head, just over and over. And as I was falling under the anesthetic, I just felt this weird, serene calm come over me for about 2.5 seconds. And then I was like, night night. And then I woke up in recovery. For me, it felt like, a blink of an eye. It was probably, they said it was about 40 minutes. I stayed in recovery for a little bit because my blood pressure was quite low. It was 85/48. Now I run low. I'm usually like 90 something over 60, but that was a little too low. Stayed in recovery for a bit. I was feeling very dizzy. But then they took me back up to the floor, and I was still like, I was not with it. Like, there was this, the transport guy on the way down. I was talking to him, and we were joking and laughing, and then on the way back up I was like, yeah, I'm a little less awake than I was last time I saw you. And then I asked the nurse, I was like, is it normal to feel like I'm walking through a dream? And that dream feeling still hasn't gone away. But so I got back up to the floor, and like I remember things pretty well, but like I got back up to the floor, and they were monitoring my blood pressure. They hooked me up to potassium and fluids because my potassium was low. And then I was just resting, and then probably like 10 minutes after I got back to the floor, maybe give or take a few, my sense of time was not with it. I started feeling extremely air hungry and short of breath, and my O2 was fine. So she said it was probably like a like, side effect of the propofol wearing off. And so she did give me some oxygen, just mostly for comfort. I wore that for a little bit. It helped tremendously. So I'll cue in some pictures of me waking up from the endoscopy and with the oxygen. I took like 2 pictures, so there you go. And so that helped me relax enough to like rest and not feel like I was suffocating. It was a very like weird feeling. And so I just rested like that for a bit. My dad was there, so I was kind of like chatting back and forth, but honestly, I can't remember half of what we said to each other. And after about 30 minutes, I felt like I didn't need the oxygen anymore. I did have to have help getting to the bathroom because I tried to do it on my own because I'm that kind of person, and nearly passed out on the floor. And the nurse was like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's not create paperwork and keep you here longer when you're already going home. So I did ask, like, I just needed her help to like get to the bathroom pretty much. And then I made it back on my own because I was a little more steady. The rest of it's all kind of a blur. I just laid there getting potassium, getting fluids. I took like a 30-minute nap. I drank a Ensure and a Glucerna because I hadn't eaten. And just felt very weird. I still feel weird just out of it. But then around like 3:30, 4 o'clock maybe, I was able to leave. So we got some Subway on the way home. I ate that, and my stomach is hurting now, which is kind of concerning for reasons I'm going to tell you, but I'm sure it's not that. And I checked on my plants. I had a caterpillar eating my tomato, so I had to get rid of that. And just been resting since I got home. But the results of the endoscopy were not terrible. My stomach and my small intestine is inflamed. Gastritis, they said. It could be acid, it could be, everything that my guts just went through. So they just said to rest. My CF team said to rest, and just, not do much. As far as the SMA syndrome, they said that right now no surgical intervention is needed. Hopefully it never is. But that it is something that's going to need to be keep an eye on, and one of those was stomach pain, which is why I was like, okay, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But and basically either the small intestine could become crushed to the point that I'm not passing food, or the veins underneath the small intestine could become crushed to the point that I'm not getting blood flow. So, both wonderful things. And so said that it'll probably just require like scans, to keep an eye on things. And if I ever get like severe pain or nausea, or if I get this like backed up feeling again, then I'm probably gonna have to go back to the hospital. So let's hope that I don't. And yeah, I just felt very overwhelmed. I think going into the hospital with constipation and thinking, okay, CF is being CF, and then expecting to leave, and then leaving the hospital, going under anesthesia for an endoscopy and getting diagnosed with a whole new chronic illness was a little bit much. And so I just burst into tears when I left, and the nurse was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm okay. I'm just like, I don't know. And I was crying for the last hour. Not crying now at least, but I still feel my stomach hurts. I feel very tired. I feel very drained. I mean, before I had the endoscopy today, I had 3.5 days of diarrhea, and then I had anesthesia, so like my body is just like, what are you doing? So my brain's not completely braining, so I'm just gonna end that there. But I'm good. I'm home, and I actually have a doctor coming to the house on Monday, so if things are still kind of weird, talk to them, but and talk to my CF team as well. But I'm just going to take it very chill over the weekend. I'm going to give my baby some sunlight. I have like 5-6 tomatoes, so it's exciting. I'm going to upload this on home Wi-Fi, not hospital Wi-Fi. And just going to rest for a bit. I'm going to probably take a bath if I can later, and watch something with my brother later, and maybe go to bed early. So anyway, thank you guys for all your prayers, your sweet comments, your support, and it's going to be a new journey. It's going to be a learning curve of, now taking medicines to control poop, and, watching my veins that they don't, die pretty much. Basically, adding a third chronic illness to the list of problems. But we'll keep on keeping on.